EDG spring back to life in game number 2 versus Victory 5, but can they keep their momentum going, or will they fall at the final hurdle towards their playoffs contention? Matt Niberic, Daniel Clement Chu, and the MVP was Ray. Let's just start there because he was absolutely disgusting on the Akali, able to split push, able to get the kills. Finally, Ray was able to carry.
The biggest change to EDG this split is that if you give a carry to Ray, he will actually deliver. This has never really happened for an EDG squad. They used to have blue-collar top laners, but this time on the red side, they have a great find.
Ray has been so good, especially we've seen his Aatrox plays earn highlights. I think that Akali one, definitely worthy of the highlight reel going forward. 80% kill participation, end of the game. Just so absolutely destructive, able to make picks off the side, able to make picks in the middle of team fights. When an Akali gets that far ahead, it's really hard to fight back.
Yeah, Ray just has such good instincts on when to actually go in and finish off the kills because he was facing a very difficult composition to actually get backline access into. Kennen, Galio, and you also have Janna there as well. He was still able to find multiple kills in every single team fight. So props to him. He's showing a lot of growth, and this is going to give EDG a great flex pick going forward into the playoffs.
But you were saying you still weren't very happy with EDG's performance. They've gotten better,
yes.
But there's still some things we want to see, and the last team fight in particular was one that really could have gone either way.
Yeah, the last team fight, you have to mention that the first move from Jinoo right here was good, but V5 are actually a little bit slow on the play, and Jinoo does trade a lot of HP for that. Ben4 does a good job on keeping Scout on the other side of the map, but I have to say the front line here from V5 really did overchase. There was no need for them to be going for the front lines of EDG when they actually had the range advantage on Jinx. Korn going around that bend was very questionable to me, and you could see that gave iBoy an easy condemn, and they quickly took him out of the fight. He also blew his Zhonya's earlier on when Scout basically split the team composition. So I don't think that's a fight that EDG will feel super proud about. I think there was a lot of mistakes that V5 actually made. The coordination was not really on point at all. You could see that the rocket wasn't actually the first thing that was thrown by Y4. If he threw the rocket, he could have gotten a kill right off the bat with the slicing maelstrom. So a bit of a coordination mistakes here and there. And if V5 took that a bit more patiently and were able to set up the fights in a way where they push down. They push the mid tower and then have a wide angle to transition into the river toward Baron. I felt like they could have very well came into the game. And for EDG, another thing that they're not particularly good on is split pushing. So EDG, they're the masters of tempo play, but when it comes to big 5v5 team fights and it comes to split pushing, I still feel like their macro senses pull them in different directions.
The question then is which one they need to focus on for their upcoming series, for this series, because, you know, they're still not out of the woods yet. Yes, last game was good, but there's a lot more that they could do, and V5 nearly pulled it back in that final team fight. So for EDG, they have two big things they need to focus on as their weaknesses. They have the 5v5 team fights, and they have the split pushing. Which one should they prioritize in this series to not only get through the day, but try and have better chances going forward into their next one?
I would say for this one, for this specific matchup against V5, the split pushing aspect is actually slightly more important. I don't think V5 are the best 5v5 team either, but if you get Jinoo ahead, which he has been doing very often on carry champions, then you could be facing a nightmare for yourself. If Ray's not doing well in the lane, I do fully expect V5 to actually swap over to the red side and try to get a counter in the top. Then you could foresee a lot of troubles going on. So I feel like being able to drill in Ray as a carry and playing through Ray as a 4-1 split pusher is an absolute must for EDG.
Because we saw that in game number 1, what happens when Jinoo gets ahead. You know, the karma for Ray wasn't really doing a whole lot. It's not a carry pick. It's more of a supportive pick. Didn't have a lot of pressure in the lane. And then Jinoo just won the game by himself. He was able to 1v2. He was able to split push. He was able to take down towers. There was a whole lot that Jinoo was able to do. The only thing he wasn't able to do was basically lose the game. So for EDG, that was a disaster. And Clearlove has been coming back. He's one of the most veteran jungles here. Do you want to see him shift his focus more heavily towards the top side, or do you think he's been fine and it's just like the general mass of EDG that need to adjust?
I feel like Clearlove has actually been playing these games immaculately. If you look at his game 2 pathing, He gets the early trade from the bot lane. He knows that the HP bars are low. Instantly, Jarvin goes from his red straight to the bottom side to make sure that they can force it back onto Y4. And then their bot lane in iBoy with Vayne is just suddenly up 20 CS. So there's a lot of good play in the synergy between Clearlove in his lanes. That's absolutely what you expect. But the later game shot calling is what I'm a little bit worried about for EDG. Like, typically what you want to do in a 4-1 split push situation like that is you do want to the basic theory of a 4-1 is that people cannot hold your 4-man versus 5-man. People cannot engage and win a fight on you with 5v4, and they also lose things on the top side when they send 2 versus 1 on the bottom side. So that's the kind of edge that you want to walk, being safe in a 4v5 and being aggressive in a 1v2. You win both sides of the map, but honestly, EDG, I think their 4-man played a little bit too timid in that situation. They could have pushed V5 with no engages a little bit more. Instead, they gave V5 a lot of scaling time in that game. So not a super comfortable game for that. Even though the gold lead was one-sided, the maximum amount of gold differential they had in that game was actually not that far. It was below 7K, and when you're looking at the comps, that's not enough to be safe.
Perhaps EDG's nerves showing through a little bit. They know how much this means for their playoffs hopes. They know how much this means for them going forward into the next series. So we want to see them maybe get a little bit looser with their play in the sense that they need to take more risks. They need to be it's a calculated risk that they need to start forming, because that time they weren't playing aggressive enough with the 1. They were playing too far back. But the first game, they went for some dragon plays that didn't really turn out for them. They went for the Herald. It got stolen away from them. So, but somewhere between these two games, I think, is the EDG we're looking for.
Yep, I mean, of course, specific plays for specific situations. That's a lot of context that goes into those decisions. And we're going to see V5 actually pull Pepper back into the lineup. Now, I do think Pepper is a better matchup against Clearlove. Once again, Pepper is a killer hunter type of jungler, much like Flawless on JD Gaming right now. And he does like to break the game down in 1v1. We've seen very stark differences in champion pool between him and Ben4. Ben4 always looking for the ganks, Gragas, Aatrox. Those are his champions. But when you go to someone like Pepper, it's the Kha'Zix, it's the Kayn. And if he can get that going, break the synergy between Clearlove and his laners, then that's a very good solution to taking out EDG.
Especially when you look at their lanes without the support of Clearlove. What happens when he's not there? Ray was having trouble in the top side in the first game when there wasn't a whole lot of support in the bot side. That didn't go too well, despite the fact that iBoy and Meiko were on a pretty decent bottom lane. So with Clearlove out of the equation, EDG are in a lot worse of a position, so we're going to see how that draft caters towards this new playstyle here for Victory 5, or if everything remains the same, sans a jungler change.
I like that they're taking away Rek'Sai. Now, Rek'Sai is one of those champions that you can't really get an invade onto him, so if you take that away, it's much better if you get the counter matchup against Clearlove. Instead, they're actually just going to take away his options. This is going to force Clearlove onto something like the Zhao, which is a lot more risky.
Only one way in. Oh, that better not be a fake hover, EDG. Hovering the Ziggs right now. Yeah, all right, it was a fake hover. I keep getting baited by the champion select here, Clement, so I'm going to wait until the lock-in. Though I do think the Nico pick would be interesting to see, especially the nerfed one. Instead, it's going to be the Lissandra. Very standard. We've seen it a lot. And there was the Kha'Zix hovered briefly, but will likely be the Xin here, the matchup into the Jarvin.
Clearlove's thinking about his options. He also has the Karthus and the Evelynn in his pocket. I'm not super confident about the Zhao. Clearlove does play it super well, coordinating with his mid laner especially, but it is a champion that once you go in, there is no exit strategy. There's no plan B. You go in, you win it, or you die there on the Hill of Glory. So it's going to come down to these early ganks. If Pepper can actually find the correct counter gank, then it could flip the matchup in an instance.
It's worth noting as well that EDG stuck with their bans from last game, taking away the Kale and the Silas. So if they want late game scaling, they'd have to go towards something like that Kassadin, instead going for the lane dominance with the Syndra.
Ooh, Syndra's a spicy one for Korn. One of his best champions in the series we watched against Sino Dragons. He was able to pick up a non-official pentakill in that game on the top side. So this is a champion that he's very good on, and it's also a champion that deals quite well with Zhao. Zhao wants to come in on you, you can instantly scatter the weak and knock him back. So the 2v2 for EDG and V5 might be stymied this time.
Both mid laners have a lot of options for shutting down engages, but the top lane going to give a carry over to Jinoo. This time it's going to be the Vladimir instead of the Kennen or the Kayle. And the Akali locked in once again, very likely going to go over to Ray. He had a great performance on that last game, so different matchup, but still confident in Ray's abilities.
If the lane should go fairly similarly, I don't expect Ray to be able to come out with big CS leads earlier on, but he will be a much stronger threat. And like we were talking about, EDG really need to fix their 4-1.
Does he get to fight at level 6 this time, though? Because that's my big concern into something like the Vladimir, who has so much sustain in the lane, who is able to keep himself safe. Even his ultimate gives him sustain. He has a lot of options to stay safe away from the Akali. And if Ray can't get snowballing and Clearlove's not able to help him enough, suddenly that win condition for EDG is not an option.
I actually really like the matchup with Akali versus the Vladimir, because if you get the initial stun off, then you force him into an early pull, and then when he comes out of the pull, he's usually quite low health. He actually decreases his health pool for you to perfectly execute him. So the level 6 matchup actually favors the Akali quite a bit. Of course, you need to stay ahead in lane throughout that to really make that work out, but on even footing, even then, it should still work. V5 are going to take away those carry options away from iBoy. They have the Kalista ban all 3 games this time around. I think Kalista has been iBoy's best champion, so he's going to have to pull out something new.
A lot of bot focus bans from both teams. The Galio as well being taken away, but Meiko, unsurprisingly, looking towards that Thresh. I think last game it was a huge playmaker for EDG, able to get so much done earlier in the series, and now they will lock it in. A lot of engage potential on that, a lot of peel for iBoy. The Lantern has done so much in these plays. Oh, yes! This time it was locked.
What? Oh,
okay.
boy.
All right.
They actually did it. They locked it in.
All right. Where is which one? Okay.
That's a kill you bot lane.
That's the bot lane.
Yeah, that's a bot lane.
The Pyke Alistar bot lane.
Pyke Alistar bot lane.
Pyke Alistar bot lane, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my god, this is so fun.
EDG have no idea what to pick, and I don't either. They're hovering around the Sivir. They think I guess the spell shield.
They need more range. Get a Caitlyn. Get a Caitlyn. No! Sivir's not enough.
I think you mean yes, Clement. Because if EDG are going to go down and risk falling out of playoffs, I want to see it to a Pyke Alistar bot lane.
This is insane. V5 saying, you know what, we don't have the scaling options this time. Our mid and jungle and our top lane, they're all divers. They're going in, they're going in. We going in. That's our intro song, by the way. So V5, their bot lane says, you know what, we're following you. I'm not getting any protection anyway. Like, you guys never protect me, so it's fine. I might as well join the fray. I think this is what Y4 is saying.
It's the solo queue 80 carry mentality. Forget it. If you guys aren't going to help me, I'm going to help myself. I'll engage with you, and then at least you can't blame me for dying when it's all I can do. But how does this lane play out? I mean, you can get the hooks, sure, but do you have problems with range? How do you get this kill lane going?
So, the amount of damage that they do is pretty ridiculous early on. And the amount of crowd control as well. That's 2 stuns from Alistar and Pyke. That's 1 knockback, 1 knock up, and then a pullback from Pyke as well. And they actually do massive damage. Like, Pyke's damage alone is enough to carry that lane. He will be going for something like the Duskblade first as well. A lot of AD on that. And basically, whenever Jarvin enters the lane, they should expect themselves to get a kill. It's really going to be up to Meiko to save the situation, because Meiko, Thresh can actually do some nasty things to the Alistar. You can hook him mid-air during the Q, the headbutt, to stop the engage, but it's actually very difficult to do.
It's going to be all on Big Brother Meiko to keep iBoy safe in this bottom lane, and V5 bringing out the crazy strategies in one of their last games here in the split. They know they're out of playoffs, but that doesn't mean they have to stop trying. That does mean they get to have a whole lot of fun with a new composition.
You know, Pyke is saying I'm going to take you with me. Let's drown together. And that's exactly what V5 are telling EDG right now. You're coming with me to the depths where no one can hear you scream.
That was a little bit dark, Clement, but honestly...
Have you seen our universe?
Yeah,
like there's guts and gores being splattered all
Bilge
over
Water's messed up.
Yeah.
Man.
Like, if you read our lore, it's actually pretty damn dark.
This is just what's called a Bilge Water greeting unit. Just drown them, pull them down with you. Can V5 pull it off or will Pyke fall down in the AD carry position? For the first time ever we've seen him. How successful is it going to be? That is what Game 3 of Victory 5 versus EDG hinges on.
That sign was amazing. So what the sign said was, Clearlove, can you give me a bite of that chicken wing? That looks so good. And then the final chants were KFC. We're doing such a good job. I think the Colonel would be happy with our sponsor.
Product placement, Zhao! On a more serious note, Lei is in a whole lot of trouble. I don't know if Meiko started hook, but if he did, it's going to be a very dangerous game. Looks like they're invading level 1 onto the red buff here.
That's interesting. They're flipping the script on this bottom lane, and I understand why they're doing.
Oh my God, Meiko! He's gonna need
Bad
the flash,
position.
maybe. The Flay will pop the aftershock, so not a whole lot of damage going down on him. And note that Y4 loses a lot of health out of this, and Pepper loses a lot of time.
But the key thing here is that EDG don't get to vertical jungle. If you can vertical jungle, it means that the enemy jungler is forced out of that side of the map. It means that they can't play towards this kill lane in the bottom. So whether or not they can set up this red is of extreme importance for both.
Pepper trying to get it to reset so that EDG don't have a chance, but he has wasted so much time in the bottom side here. Meiko coming in as well. It's worth noting that Pyke went for the longsword first, so not going to have the extra damage and sustain of the double Targons.
This is so annoying for Meiko, but has he overstepped his boundaries? He's getting collapsed upon.
Clearlove as well. Scout's here to help out. Ignite falls down onto Pepper. He's still level 1. The flash play comes out from Meiko. It's not going to be enough. A great scout of the week from Korn will keep his jungler safe, but everyone is still in the red buff. This is the most disgustingly disoriented level 1 we have seen in the LPL.
Yeah, I love crazy level 1s like this. Korn has expended everything, and just looking down the summoners, I have to give the edge to EDG. They secure the vertical jungle, and Pepper sitting at almost 3 minutes, no camps in hand. What is he even supposed to do? He has to go towards the top side, and we could see V5 strategy falling apart right after the initial salvos.
Granted, Clearlove also set a little bit behind, so there's still hope here for the Pyke Alistar bot lane. I need this to work well. Okay, I don't need this to work well because I know if it does, I'm going to see it in solo queue, but I don't play bot lane anymore, so I'm kind of happy with that. I love seeing new compositions come out, new strategies, and V5 are coming in with a pretty innovative one. We haven't seen kill lanes in the bot lane for a while. Stun going to go down. Scout of the week lands onto Scout. Pepper able to pick up some vision as well with the Scuttle Crab, but Clearlove, like we said, going to be able to establish the vertical jungle. Actually, he's going back towards his red.
Yeah, he can just take his red back and then come back, take his own bottom side, and keep pressure onto the kill lane. So I think there's nothing wrong with this pathing. All he needs to make sure of is that the Pepper is not going to be heading bot lane. That's all he needs to keep tabs on.
There's no vision that'll spot him out.
That gank lane, the bottom lane itself, just in a 2v2, you're probably not going to see that many kills. But if you throw Pepper in the mix, you bet someone's going to die.
It's all on the jungle pathing at this point. It's what everyone has to be careful of, and Ray is trying to get vision, trying to get eyes on Pepper. Any advantage whatsoever to the spot. Oh no, Korn in a lot of trouble. Gets flashed on the engage, the double roots, the stun. Korn goes down. First blood to Clearlove.
And you just can't out macro EDG. Extra rotations coming in from the bot side. Meiko backing earlier. We saw V5 trying to push the wave out later, so they were going to be slow on that play. And EDG, they just take everything into account, all the factors.
Oh, V5 trying for a gank of their own. The flash will land the stun, and Scout stuck between a rock and a hard place gives the first kill over to Y4.
Dead before he hit the ground. That's the wombo combo we wanted to see from V5. And I love that they understand they don't have to play this combo only in the bot lane. They can roam around with it. They can have some fun around the map.
The skewered beef bot lane doing pretty good job roaming around.
The kebab lane.
Yeah. That's it. It's got a name now.
Yeah, but not V5 aren't the kebab. You are.
Yeah. They need extra meat. They don't just want beef. They want some season. They wanted it to be a cold kebab, so they went for Scout first. And now the bot lane is ahead in CS here for EDG. Oh, Jinoo.
A lot of damage.
In a lot of trouble. Should have the Crimson Rush. The flash from Ray. Not going to be able to find the kill. Jinoo is forced to back, but has blown the flash.
Oh, boy.
So close. This is dangerous for Victory 5 too. They are down so much in CS, 10 already at just the 6-minute mark. It will be spotted here. Y4 going in for the engage, but backs off after he realizes that Pepper's been seen.
Yep, they also have Lissandra missing from the mid lane, so instantly backs off. That was an extended trade. It would be one that EDG would in fact win. So good choice there. Here we go.
Engage coming in. Hemoplague has landed. Perfect execution. Number 1 will land as well, but Ray forced off. So much sustain here from Jinoo. Gonna get the transfusion. Not there with the Crimson Rush though.
Yeah, really good on the Hemoplague, and it looked like Ray probably did not get his initial stun onto target. I'd like to see that trade again.
So looking at the bot lane again, Clement, because this is honestly where most of our attention is going to end up going, because this draft went all kinds of sideways. How are you feeling about it 6 minutes into the game, given the fact that the vertical jungle was set up so early?
So the thing I'm looking at is just the kill potential from V5. Just they need Pepper ahead and able to get a Cataclysm down, instantly finish off with an execute. That's all they need from the bot side. That's all they need from a roaming lane like that. So I'm actually feeling okay with myself. I feel like Pepper rebounded quite well despite his early jungle deficit.
Tried to go for the Krugs there a little bit. Now they're getting shoved under tower. The good hook follows onto Meiko, and Meiko might have bitten off a little bit more than he can chew. He gets out from under tower, but another shot lands. Ignite. Finally, they'll take down Lei. So close to a kill for Victory 5, but Meiko survives far more than he should have been able to.
That was an insane aftershock. I didn't think he would be able to get out of that situation. He actually needed to flay while inside tower range, so he took one to the face, but it didn't even matter.
Now Y4 stuck under tower, 43 CS to 65 of iBoy. He's just getting poked out like crazy at this point, and Y4 has no way to stop it.
This is a problem with the double support lane. Once you lose the damage threat and the kill threat, you just can't do anything in lane anymore. You're going to fall behind in CS. Okay. That's Pepper just sending a little bit of warning. They didn't see Corn actually backing, so still able to walk into that potential 3v2.
Y4 is still getting poked out like crazy under this tower. iBoy is out of mana, worth noting, but he will have the spell shield available. And Lei is backing off. Y4 backing off. He has the ultimate available, has hit level 6. Lei and Pepper looking to contest the second red buff of the game here in the bottom side of the map for Victory 5. It will reset, so that Clearlove and Meiko have to re-engage if they want to take a teleport expended for this.
Yeah, they just want to make sure the bot side is free of interference, but they don't actually see Corn.
All right, Corn. That is one speedy red buff, though, but it will be enough of a delay for the time being.
That was cheeky. I love that play.
I want to see Corn just keep kidnapping monsters the entire game. Taking him away from Clearlove. Wasn't able to secure the Raptors for his team, however.
Ooh, look at the Tiamat build from Pyke. Super interesting. Now, they have been pushed under lane quite frequently by iBoy just with the ricochets. So I like the idea. It's damage, it's wave clear. And honestly, if you can't make things happen this lane, try for other lanes. You've got the Moby boots on both of the supports right now.
This is what top lane Pikes tend to build the last time I checked up on their build. You'll go for the Tiamat just for the early wave clear, and then into the Ghost Blade for the better roam potential with the Moby boots. So you get a lot of move speed out of it. Question is if it's going to be enough to make up for the fact that iBoy is getting so much farm. But now V5 fighting over the blue buff. Pepper jumps into 2. I don't know about this one. He needs to get out. Meiko's trying to follow up. Frozen 2 has landed. Great hook there. Will take down Pepper. Clearlove picking up the kill. Corn, Y4, Lei, they're all here. The ultimate doesn't land for the kill, but Y4 gets it regardless. They're chasing down onto Scout. There's the damage. Y4 gets the assist. 2-0-1 on the Pyke.
And that's Moby Boots in action. You can see the bot lane. There was 2-man roam from V5 to equalize the fight. EDG did get the first kill, but it expended a lot of gap closures just to get over that wolf pit. It's a really cool move here, and Meiko's going to find some neighbors he doesn't want to see.
Oh, so close to picking off the support from EDG, but V5 do not decide to go for it for the time being. I feel like they're getting a little bit less confidence because of the aftershock on Meiko. They know what happened last time with the assistance of the tower. Don't think they have enough damage to do it without.
Yeah, but look at iBoy's level. He's level 8 right now. He's so ridiculously over-leveled compared to Lei, who finally ticks 6. At least they're going to equalize the ultimate so far. But this is still not a lane that they're feeling very comfortable in. I feel like they're going to have to see the lane and try to roam even more just to make up for this combo.
It's worth noting the fact that EDG have picked up the Ocean Drake as well, because that's a lot of sustain in both mana and health that V5 don't have access to. You look at Y4, every time we look down here, low on health, getting chunked out by iBoy, and they don't have the extra sustain, they don't have the extra mana, so things are just so hard for them. Meiko gets the hook, will not be able to What? Okay, I guess the Ricochet landed for the kill. That was a lot of damage out of nowhere, and now iBoy, almost a fully stacked Cull, almost a completed Essence Reaver. He is having the time of his life in this bottom lane, and the Pyke starting to look like it might not work out here for Victory 5.
Yeah, going onto the Pyke, you cannot get extra HP on it, so very easy to one-shot in that situation. If you're not the aggressor, if you're pushed in, if you're forced to play in front of a Thresh, that will happen to you.
Want to see what happens when he reaches his Ghostblade power spike? Not necessarily because it's extra damage, but because you can roam a little bit faster, you get a little extra movement speed. He's going to be picking up the waves anyways at this point. They've lost the tower. So that's kind of all you get to do in the bottom lane if you want to stay there. So it's now going to be all on the roam potential of having this double support option. V5 are using it right now to get pressure onto this Rift Herald, but Clearlove is looking to pick up the Infernal Drake in the bottom lane, and that's a huge sacrifice for Victory 5, especially with that bottom lane tier 2 being threatened by iBoy.
Of course, this trade is favorable for V5. And for EDG, I think they need to think about how they're going to keep Sivir alive at this point. It's very easy for V5 to dive into the backline and instantly kill iBoy. I don't think it even matters how fat iBoy is. He's going to have a very hard time actually avoiding death in these team fights. Good news for him, he is 3,000 gold ahead though.
Yeah, it's
2,200.
It's a bit of a difference there, Clement. Like you said, it is a short-range Sivir, to be fair. Has the spell shield for a little bit of prevention of the engage, but when you have so much dive, so much backline poke, so many stuns coming out from Corn as well, it is going to be hard to keep him alive, like you said. But if I trust anyone to be able to do it, it would be Meiko's Thresh. He's been so good on this pick, especially last game, demonstrating exactly what a good Thresh is able to put up for the AD carry. So looking forward to those team fights a lot, but for the time being, EDG are up 3k gold, up 1 tower and 2 dragons, so they're pretty happy about this early game, I think.
I really don't see how iBoy survives any of this. Like, what you could do is flash in on the Syndra, just ult iBoy, and instantly execute him. Like, we've seen that play actually being used by RNG, where Zhao just flashes in and you can find the kill with the execute.
Oh, Jinoo, I don't know about this engage. Will get the flash out of Meiko at the very least. They've burned the spell shield from iBoy. And Jinoo solo pressures off 4 people. Oh, come on, Lei. Get it.
Finds it.
Knock up.
Oh!
Who get him? Blast plant knocks away iBoy. iBoy's in the back of the Baron pit. Has to use the heal and the flash, but they're on the chase. Y4 with a lot of move speed. His Moby boots have procced. Corn goes in, gets the stun, burns it. Meiko with a great lantern, but it's not going to matter. They get iBoy down low. Not enough to kill him just yet. There's the execute. Gold. Finally followed
Reset.
up. Y4, they're looking for the fight. He's so low. He has the reset. Tries to land it, but no damage there. And now Ray tries to go in. A great scatter of the week from Corn will keep himself and his support alive. V5 are able to find iBoy after a lot of back and forth.
Yeah, but that was a 1-for-2 trade actually in favor of EDG. So
yeah,
a lot could have gone worse for Edward Gaming. Great play by iBoy to dodge away on Scatter of the Week. He actually spell shielded the initial attempt from Corn. Corn had to use a flash for that. So even though it looked really, really good for V5, EDG actually win it. They actually win it quite hard.
And we're seeing the strength of the build here coming out from iBoy as well, because he has gone for the SS Reaver first. It's a lot of CDR. So his spell shield is coming out a lot faster, and we saw him use it multiple times during that fight, saving his life literally every single time it was used.
Yep, standard build for the Sivir these days, but still put to very good use. Let's watch that amazing play from Lei. I thought he was going to get those kills. It looks like a very easy situation. They're actually 5v4 on the top side of the map. It should be fine. iBoy does not get stunned, takes the lantern, and look where Pepper is. He takes 1, 2 turret shots, falls down. They then get the knockback onto iBoy. They finally do get the kill, but another member has to fall down for them to find that 650 bounty.
Despite the fact that his bot lane isn't really working out, I don't feel like that is a problem with the bot lane. Y4 does look a little bit uncomfortable in the Pyke pick. I just kind of want to sell this because it's been very interesting the way that this early game has been allowed to play out because you have the double roam.
Yeah, it's super interesting. This really harks back to Season 1 of League of Legends, where the bot lane was double tanks, and Roam Taric was actually a thing.
Oh my god, that damage on delay.
Yeah, there's no tank, no frontline for V5. Actually, Pepper is going to go for the Cinderhulk build. But we've actually seen throughout League of Legends history this build actually be a mainstay in some metas. Definitely was before North America found EU and the EU meta took shape. Back then, a popular bot lane was Shen Taric, and he just roamed across the map the entire time with the Heart of Gold. I miss you, Heart of Gold. I still do every day. With Heart of Gold, and just walking across and trying to get ganks like that. So we've definitely seen a blueprint of this in League of Legends past, but we've also seen the demise of it. It's not a build that scales well. If you don't have a lead earlier on and you're not getting gold, consistent gold on those two supports, you're not going to be able to match the damage when it comes to late game teamfights.
That said, we have seen variations of strange compositions come out even more recently. GSG versus CJ Entis Game 5, one of my favorite matches of all time, where there was the Heimerdinger jungle, then Olaf, a Caitlyn, and they just pushed around the lanes. Yes, that was when League of Legends was a little bit more in its infancy. It shows that with creativity, there's a lot you can pull off in this game, but so far, Victory 5 haven't found their mark with this just yet. Y4 has picked up the Ghost Blade, but he's down 60 CS in comparison with iBoy. They're going for the engage, and knock up on a scout. Frozen Tomb will keep him safe, and now Lei and Pepper in a bad position. Pepper gets picked off. Lei makes his way out with the Unbreakable Will, dodges out the hook from Meiko. Might be able to get the engage. Good scatter of the week, but still Lei goes down to iBoy.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about fully engaging on a Lissandra like that. Definitely not the best target of choice. I would prefer to at least going on the Thresh.
It does seem like V5 have been shaken a little bit by their early game mishaps.
They know that they're on a timer. Like, this composition does not, it doesn't do well if Sivir is super farmed off. Like, she can get some items to keep herself alive, but just look at this play. Great Thresh hook to keep the Lei in position. Lei has to flash over the wall. Pepper, nothing really to do right there. And that was another great hook from Meiko, forcing Lei to take the longer route around.
Now third Drake rather, another Ocean Dragon going to go over to EDG. So now a ton of sustain passively in the pocket of EDG. And 3 Dragons not too bad either, additionally 6k gold. So things are getting worse and worse for Victory 5 as time goes on, and when Baron spawns in a minute 30, I don't suspect they'll get any better.
Definitely not. Definitely not. So the good thing for V5 is that there aren't actually any tanks here, so they could still go on and get some kills.
Able to pick up a stun, but the hook misses from Y4. Now Scout going in, 3-man root with the Ring of Frost. Ray gets the stun onto 3 as well with the perfect execution, able to take out 1. They pick off 2 in return. 3 down for Victory 5, just 2 kills in favor of them.
Yeah, that was a 4v5 defend from EDG, and unfortunately for Y4, he actually does not get the execute, so no resets to clean up that fight, and they should lose mid.
Jinoo has to be really careful under this tower. Uses the Sanguine Pool now. iBoy dives under the tower. Will Y4 be able to get it? He does! Gets the shutdown. That's a little bit more like what Y4 was looking for, but they lost so much for it.
And you can see Y4. You can see iBoy on the bottom of your screen saying that, oh, that was probably a little too playful. I could even read his lips. That's his favorite saying. I was a little too playful there. Watching this play, the initial hook doesn't land for Y4. He gets the stun, but a great time to teleport from Scout. Flashes in immediately to get the triple, and then a double stun coming in from Ray in the top lane on the Akali. And unfortunately, you can see Y4 misses the ultimate. No reset to be taken.
Now Corn just going to show up at the top lane, and V5 not having a great game, to say the least. They're down 3 dragons, still down 6k gold. So they need to find their way back. If they can continue to get picks on iBoy like that, that's great. But now he has a rapid fire cannon, he's got the IH, he's got the Essence Reaver. He has the 3 items he needs to basically destroy your entire team by himself. So this is looking really scary for V5. These next few minutes are going to be do or die.
iBoy can pretty much decimate the entire V5 team with just 3 auto attacks. Gets the ricochet crit. Crits on every single target if you do get the crit. So a very deadly weapon against V5. V5 really need to find a way to start the fights themselves. They need to focus on iBoy and take him out of the equation immediately. There's almost no chance for them.
This entire game feels like it relies around the fact that iBoy sometimes finds himself being too playful, as he would say, and catching himself out of position. If that doesn't happen, V5 don't have many avenues into a fight where they can pick him off if his team is anywhere nearby. They have a lot of engaged potential from the Syndra, they have a lot of engage from Pepper. Y4 and Lei are basically made of engage, but if they're not able to get that onto iBoy on his lonesome, they get picked off. Y4 dies instantly. Pepper is not tanky enough. There's not a whole lot V5 can do.
Yep, things are looking super dire for them. Already 6,000 gold behind. And I do expect a Ninja Tabbies coming out from iBoy. He needs to defend himself against Y4. He'll be trying to sneak up on his position.
You definitely don't need the attack speed. And now they've sent Y4 off to split push on the top lane. But I don't know how I feel about that, honestly. Because it seems like they're just delaying the inevitable a bit. And I don't know if the extra lethality that Y4 will be building would help them more than Corn or Jinoo getting more fed. Jinoo has that late game scaling.
I'd say he's the only one that can safely split push at that point.
Oh.
Like, we have a wave top. Can you deal with it? Like, yes, sir, I will. They can't really send the Syndra, so I understand the idea of just giving the gold over to Y4. Still could make good use of it. The ultimate does scale very well with additional AD.
I guess if this game goes ad infinitum and everyone gets 6 items, V5 still have a chance if they find the miracle engage. So I don't feel like they're entirely out of it. But again, it's looking pretty bad right now, especially with this position.
Well, if they can find Clearlove.
Find the Scout of the Week, gets the stun and the damage. Clearlove down below half, but Scout might be looking for the engage. Going to use the Frozen Tomb. Now the teleport coming in as well. Cataclysm into the backline. Going to force Pepper out. He gets killed. iBoy still healthy in the backline. And Y4 able to find the hook onto Clearlove. A good Hemoplague as well comes out from Jinoo, keeping himself and his team alive for the time being. Scout gets taken out by Scout of the Week. Y4 still alive. Gets the ultimate. Not able to get the second. The reset is not going to come through. iBoy survives with a triple kill, and that is the end of the fight. EDG come away with 4 kills rather, to just 3.
Yeah, Y4 does his job right there, but Pepper didn't have to stop watching for that fight, or at least he didn't use it, so instantly gets taken down by the damage of iBoy. That's a lot of crit he's running, 75% crit, and he was able to find his target super early on in that fight.
10-2-4 on the Sivir. Ton of gold in his pocket. We don't even need to see it. He's almost Flame Horizoned Y4 at this point. So in terms of gold, it's all on iBoy, as is this team fight.
Just taking a look at this fight right here. No Unleashed power used. Clearlove has plenty of time to actually use his Crescent Guard, so a good move on Corn right there. It looks like Lei has a good engage, but this was unnecessary from Pepper, to be honest. Pepper could have saved his ultimate for a little bit later. Wanted to keep everyone in place for the Hemoplague, but the Hemoplague only lands on 2 and doesn't actually find iBoy or Ray. So not a lot of pressure on Jinoo. I have to say the front line from V5 really did fail them that fight. Y4 goes in, tags Meiko, but doesn't actually get the extra reset to put a little bit more damage onto Sivir.
And this feels more and more a little bit like what I'll call a fever dream composition. It's something the coach comes up with one night and is like, this could work. You guys want to try it? And they're like, sure. But it doesn't feel like they have the synergy established for it. It doesn't feel like they've put the practice in with this composition to try it enough to consistently make these team fights work. They're close to brilliance.
I just want to say, an identity is better than no identity.
This is true.
Bye-bye, Pepper.
Having a
double
jungler is
knockup.
also better than no jungler. iBoy
iBoy
gets
caught.
caught. Oh, Meiko saves him once again with the lantern, and iBoy pumps out the damage into the back line. Lei goes down.
Jinoo's
Ray
caught
on
as
the
well.
flank, picks off a kill. Redemption coming down in favor of EDG. Hemoplague is huge there for Jinoo. Ray goes golden, and Jinoo has to stall out the team fight, has to make the play work for his team. Y4 on the side, gets the
Y4 gets it.
execution. What can he find? Gets a
Can he
ton
get
of
another
AoE
kill?
damage down. Cannot find any other kills just yet, but Jinoo and Korn both still alive, and everyone from EDG is so low, but they will survive. Only one going down, taking down 3 of Victory 5.
Great fight by Meiko right there. He saves iBoy from the initial fight, and then he pulls Ray back from the brink of death as well. Really well played on Meiko to stop from all of these resets going down on V5's end. V5, once again, they want to go for the early aggression, but let's look at what goes wrong here. Pepper standing on a ward, gets forced out immediately from the fight. At least he gets his stopwatch in time. It looks like iBoy might go down, but he actually dodges 2 crowd control skills from the lantern, and they get the first kill of the game. Ray comes in to finish off Pepper. That's going to be a 5v3 situation. Ray dodges out on the Tides of Blood. Very well played right there. He would have fallen down if not for that stopwatch. And Y4, even though he gets a good reset on the back, almost able to finish off Scout, but it was not to be. Missing 1 auto attack. That was close.
If Y4 just had, I'll say, one more item, he had completed, oh no.
Oh, that's Baron.
Yep, that's Baron. Okay. But if Y4 had one more item, I feel like that team fight would have gone a very different direction, because he was so close to getting the execute into range with the second ultimate. And that would have changed the fight entirely. He would have taken out 3 carries with 2 ultimates.
Yep.
And would have absolutely decimated. But now you look at the state, and EDG have basically a free Baron. V5 have to contest this.
Yep.
if they
Y4
want
has
keep
to
their
find a
hopes
hook.
alive.
That's the only way to get out of this alive.
Not even going for it. V5 not feeling confident. They have layup in 1 second, but EDG themselves a little bit scared around the Baron pit when they know Y4 is in the area.
They don't have any tanks on their composition either, so it's very easy for Y4 to actually find executions and chain them into resets to go full on for this Baron. So I actually like this call by EDG, taking things slow. They're up 9,000 gold. There's no need to try and finish the game here. It doesn't even matter what composition you're running at this point. With this type of gold lead, you should be able to finish it off nice and smooth.
And we were talking about iBoy's itemization. We were thinking maybe he needs to go for the Ninja Tabby. He disagrees. Instead going for the Maw of Malmortius and the Vamp Scepter, which, to be fair, will keep him very topped up in team fights against Y4, keeping him most of the time out of execution range, but does mean that Y4's lethality means a little bit more.
Yeah, I do like the idea of going for the Maw instead of the Phantom Dancer at this point. Phantom Dancer does give you a 30% shield when you are below half health, but that doesn't actually stop you from getting executed by the Pyke. So I think that's a really clever idea to go for the magic resistance and just save yourself from the unleashed power coming in from Korn or the Hemoplague from Jinoo. I like the idea. Shielding is actually not that important, especially when you're getting at a low health.
Yeah, both Korn and Jinoo are actually sitting in decent positions this game. Yeah, they're down a massive deficit as a team, but 2-2-4, 2-2-6. Not terrible positions for either of them, and 3 items for Jinoo. We saw how much he did in the last team fight.
Pepper spotted once more. He goes in, finds no one.
Flag and Drag doesn't find anyone. Cataclysm onto iBoy. The hook, rather, the Lantern saves him once again. And V5 have to disengage here. Scout wants in for the re-engage. Jinoo zoning out as best he can. Glacial Path not followed by Scout. V5 lose nothing for this except the Cataclysm and the Flash.
Yeah, this is actually winnable for V5's position, even with 9,000 gold down, if they can get the hook back.
Oh, but iBoy no shield. So that's something.
That was pretty funny. I don't think any AD carry will actually do that play.
iBoy was so BM.
I know.
That was...
honestly, I felt like Scout would have been able to walk away from the hook, but iBoy had to go in and get the extra mana. It's like, I'm full mana, but I want the mana.
I'm full mana with Essence Reaver, but I really want the spell shield.
Yeah, it was not necessary.
Should be back up by this point, and worth noting that the Baron debuff will add additional damage If V5 are able to finally engage, Pepper has the EQ, Lay using the Hex Flash into the pit, but EDG have the better angle. They knock up iBoy, scatter the weak. iBoy might go down. They finally get the shutdown onto him. V5 looking for the chase. Might be able to find it onto Scout. The flash ensures the stun onto Scout. Some damage coming down. He goes golden. Meiko looking for the lantern, but they're able to deny it. And now Victory 5. 2 members down for EDG. They turn onto the Baron. They get the Scuttle Crab of their own, and Meiko and Clearlove looking to deny away this Baron. Ray on the backside as well. So much damage on this Akali, so he may just be able to do it. V5 have to be so careful about these next few plays.
They don't have the sustained damage to actually take down the Baron. They're going to have to fight this.
Hook lands. They're able to pull back into Jinoo. They get the stun. Knock up onto both Clearlove and Meiko. They should be able to turn this into kills. Y4 picks it up onto Meiko. The flash in from Jinoo. He should get the transfusion. Shuts down onto Clearlove. Ray in the middle of 4. Perfect execution. Isn't able to find any kills. They get Pepper, but now Y4 looking for the stun. He's able to find it. Ray goes in. He gets the double, but it's not going to be enough. He gets shut down by Y4.
And that's an unofficial ace coming out from V5. 9,000 gold down, but they find the correct targets, and they didn't even need to use the execution coming in from Pyke to actually find iBoy. I need a replay to see what hit him right there, but it has to be the unleashed power bursting him down through the maw. And there was no summoners when iBoy actually fell down, so a little bit of overconfidence. And we have to remember, this is EDG's playoff hopes on the line.
The Bilgewater hello is bringing them down with Victory 5.
Can I say something? As an American, this is a great victory for the NA meta. We started this. Play the national anthem. We don't like that EU.
Say, can you see that Y4 is 9-4-3?
That even rhymed. That was pretty good.
I know. I'm pretty amazing, Clement. But he is 9-4-3. Has finished his 3rd lethality item now. He's got the Tiamat still. He's building even more longswords. I respect this build so much.
You have to do that as Pyke. Damage is your only option. So they know Corn's there as well. Don't see the Scatter the Weak. And look at Y4's position. Ooh, if Akali shows herself, this is going to be big trouble for EDG.
EDG not going to be engaged on just yet. Y4 still looking for the flank. Has the Mobies, has the invisibility if he so chooses. Also has the Edge of Night for now, so he gets a spell shield of his own. iBoy's not the only AD carry position who has one.
V5, they really saved the best for last.
They did.
We were talking about V5 and just like, what is V5's actual style? I don't think they play anything particularly well. And Y4 finally cracked the code. It was like, you know what? You guys never look at me during team fights. I'm always the first one to die here. You guys are diving most of the time. No protection for me. How about this? I'll dive with you. I'm not even going to play an AD carry. This is our style. And honestly, it looks good on V5.
It does.
It really does.
Don't get 9-4-3 by accident. iBoy able to wave clear incredibly quickly, though. Jinoo has to use the pool to dodge out. Y4 has to dodge out himself. Jinoo getting engaged on. He has the Hemoplague there. Maybe able to get the heal. Transfusion is there. It saves his health, and Pepper goes in, dives into the backline. Will save some time for his team. Unbreakable Will has been popped by Lay. Scout goes golden, and now Jinoo, can he stay alive? Where's the transfusion? Crimson Rush. He stays alive, and Korn is putting out so much damage in this fight. Y4 zones off, but finally gets taken out. Korn the last one alive for Victory 5. Triple kill for iBoy. Can he keep it going? Will Korn be able to stay alive? Scatter the Weak to wave clear. It's going to be enough for the time being, but EDG can still engage. The flash in from iBoy. Spell shield's there. Korn still alive on the back, but now this will be the mid lane tower going down, as well as the inhibitor in favor of EDG.
Yeah, they should get the inhibitor, but not the Baron buff so far. If they do rush for it, I think it's actually quite risky. Are they still going to go? Yep, it looks like they're pinging for it directly. Let's watch this fight. A lot of skills used by V5 initially. Jinoo already low health, doesn't have the pool, so really smart engage. And watch Scout uses the Frozen Tomb, and then the Zhonya's, just keeps the damage dealers in place for so long. And great play by Ray. Look at how far he forces Y4 away. Y4 can't actually find those executes. He doesn't get the resets, and he falls down from Ray. That was such a smart play from the Akali, just sectioning off V5 into small pieces, not letting them join the fight together. And that was honestly just better timing from EDG. They do this so often where they drive teams against wedges and just force the composition to break itself off, and then they do defeat by detail. Great tactical moves by EDG to pull themselves back into the game.
That said, Victory 5 An admirable team fight considering the fact that they've been 10k down for the longest time. They've now evened it out a little bit to 8k. Still a massive lead there for EDG, but the fact that V5 are still in it cannot be overstated. So impressive from this team. They're out of playoffs, and they are so hell-bent on bringing EDG with them. I wish they had this kind of attitude going into other series. Like, if they had this kind of attitude against Suning, I think they'd still be in it.
I honestly feel like V5 just woke up too late. If they just played like this from the start, oh man, they would have so much more perfection on this type of game. But EDG are going straight for mid lane.
Oh no, this is how throws happen, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I know this. V5, 50-50 Baron. Name a more iconic duo, the Dignitas of the LPL.
Oh no, Y4 misses the hook. This is
They're
really
surrounded.
bad. They're getting flanked. Ray's here on the side. Scout looking in as well. Gets the root onto 2. They're able to take out Korn in the immediate future. Now V5 no longer have the damage. 1 execute's going to go down, but no more will follow. Jinoo has the Hemo Plague. A lot of healing going in for him. He's able to pick one up. He flashes in. Scout goes golden. iBoy still alive. Has the GA as well. Jinoo trying to stall, trying to get Clearlove. But no! Jinoo gets taken down. The last hope for Victory 5. Pepper's still alive, but it's not going to matter a whole lot. Minions pouring into the mid lane of Victory 5's base. EDG have enough to bring this home. They want to keep their playoff hopes alive. This is the last chance for V5. The Cataclysm goes down. He's just looking to stall for as long as he can, but it's not going to be long enough. 15 seconds left on Korn, 12 left on Lay, 17 left on Y4. First Nexus Tower goes down. EDG hunting for the next Nexus Tower. No one will be up for the next 5 seconds, and EDG, in the weirdest game we have seen them play so far, take down V5's no AD carry composition to keep their playoff dreams alive.
It was a fun comp from V5, but the dream ends. I'm a little disappointed in the way the game ended, though. Victory 5, once it hits 35 minutes, they're like, you know what? It's like when you're playing at an internet cafe and the timer just runs out and you don't have enough coins on you to actually go on. And they're just like, well, we have to do Baron right now. It's actually in our contract. You say page 6, section 8, in small writing, do Baron at 35 minutes. I don't care if you throw the game or not. And V5 just go for it. I don't know what to say, honestly. That was bizarre.
Hashtag sponsored by Baron. But yeah, indeed a really weird game from Victory 5. One of the coolest compositions we've seen come out. Did not find its footing here, didn't find success, and EDG off the back of that will keep their hopes of staying into the higher seeding of playoffs alive. Get another victory. They don't have to worry about the loss against IG as much now, and their safety in playoffs is all but secured. But honestly, the fact that V5 stayed in it so long concerns me a little bit.
Yeah. You can really see how relieved EDG are. It's like, yes, we survived iBoy. That's good. That's good. So the magic number for reaching playoffs is 10 wins. If you get 10 wins, you are absolutely guaranteed to go into it. If you're 9, there's still a chance that you could still fall off. That's how close this playoff race has been shaping up. One match victory really decides whether you stay in or you have to leave early. So EDG, even though they take down V5, they still need to get that IG win to really secure things. And looking at this series so far, it hasn't been the most, it didn't give me a confidence boost in the stocks of Edward Gaming.
Not a bit, because it was a very messy series from EDG. Yes, V5 were very inventive with their third composition, but the first game showed that they had a little bit of a lack of macro sense. They had an early game composition, weren't able to accomplish a lot with it. Instead, the late game scaling composition of V5 won out in the early game, which should never happen. They got 2 Infernal Drakes in the early game with a Jinx and a Kayle. It's about as late scaling as you get, and they still secured the first 2 most important objectives. So just an insane oversight there coming in from EDG. Game 2, a little bit cleaner, but maybe not aggressive enough. Still 39-minute game time. And that last one, they had a 50 CS lead on iBoy. iBoy Flame Horizoned Y4, and Y4 was playing Pyke ADC, and it still took 36 minutes for EDG to close it out.
And to be fair, I felt like that was a game that was well within V5's reach.
Oh yeah.
For no doubt at all, like no question whatsoever that if V5 actually found a good team fight where they were able to wipe iBoy, they found it once already, and you could see the devastation they were able to wrought there. But being V5, of course, you have to do a Baron throw. That's in their contract. That's the way of V5. So they don't actually find the win on EDG. EDG fans breathe a big sigh of relief. And we're going to go into the next series where RNG versus Sino Dragons. RNG looking to secure their playoff standings, while Sino Dragons, if they win one game, will knock Suning out of playoff contention.
All of Suning's hopes, all of Sino Dragon's hopes are on this next game, and RMG just want to secure their spot. We'll see who emerges happiest at the end of the day after this next break.